Share Shootout brought to you by Lion of Africa Insurance, insuring South Africa's future.
Welcome back to Share Shootout. I'm Bruce Whitfield on CNBC Africa, first in business worldwide. Well, before the break, Sasha Naryshkine from Vestact identified two shares that he would include in the Share Shootout portfolio this evening. The first was Shoprite, market cap of 100 billion rand, trades on a multiple of 27 times. Sasha says you don't need to worry about the multiple on this. Valuation doesn't really matter because outside of the core shareholders of Christo, Visa and Whitey Basson, the chairman and the chief executive respectively, most of the other shareholders tend to be international investors who look at the Africa growth story as the huge opportunity for Shoprite. It also trades on a lower multiple than other international food retailers. For that reason, says Sasha, this is an absolute winner. Not so, says Deryck from Rensburg. He thinks that this is far too expensive for his portfolio and he shot it down. But he couldn't shoot down Ellies. He likes the Ellies story. You've made 4 times at least your money, possibly even 5 times your money, if you invested in this share on day one on the JSE probably 4 years ago. Now, Ellies, of course, trading on a market cap, it's 2.5 billion rand company. It's absolutely tiny in the broader scheme of things, but it's an absolute must-have, says Sasha, and Deryck agrees on that particular one. Sasha, despite the fact that he has got the dress sense of a badly turned out penguin, supports Foschini because his wife is a dedicated follower of fashion and he knows how much of the family budget goes to Foschini after all of our administered price increases that we have to endure. So Foschini gets the big fat thumbs up. It trades on a decent multiple. It's got a nice dividend yield as well. So Foschini gets the thumbs up. However, RMB Holdings, simply because it's a bank and the guys at Vestact aren't big believers in banks as investments. Not a bad place to put your money, but not a good place to invest your money. So Deryck, this way you go first in this last round. Now here is a stock which somebody picked for me probably about 5 years ago at about 50 or 60 cents. It's done spectacularly well since then. Quite an old-fashioned philosophy of a business, but they've moved a lot of their business to the cloud. Your 30 seconds on Metrofile start now.
Okay. I quite like the stock again on fundamentals. The key here and why you've seen the price increase the way it has is the consolidation of its debt. This is a very cash flash business and it generates very good cash flows. The ethics or the ethos of the business is that of a very simple model, delivers the cash flows that companies need. And this is also a stock that could potentially piggyback off the exposure in Africa as we start to see some expansionary move up there. Good yield, good fundamentals. I like where it's positioned at the moment.
30 seconds are up. See, I can be mean to him too.
Don't be mean.
Metrofile, do you like it?
Yeah, sort of. I just, one sort of. Yeah, sort of. But I'm going to shoot it down in the end. And let me tell you why, Bruce, because there's a lot unsexy about this business. It really is just a service provider. And in an age where we're supposed to be cutting down on our paper consumption, because ultimately remember that there are storage of electronic and physical documents.
But those physical documents are absolutely crucial from an historical perspective, surely.
Yeah, but although I think by law you only need to keep them
7
for
years.
a certain... Yeah. Exactly. So there comes a point in time where...
You get Arthur Anderson in to come and shred all the old paper.
Oh, come on, Bruce. But I think just from a lack of sexiness, and I say, well, it's not going to grow,
Some
and it's
of
not
the world's
appealing
greatest
to me.
investments are decidedly unsexy, Sasha.
Yes, but I thought we were supposed to pick the ones that are going to be huge winners in the years to come.
Okay, but when you say it's an unsexy business, it's not because you're not calling it unsexy from what it does, you're calling it unsexy from a prospect's point of view.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for clarifying on that particular
You're
point.
welcome.
Why do you pick an unsexy prospect?
Look, I just believe in the business model and I think simple is what generates cash. And you've seen that through the cash flow. So I don't care that it's unsexy. I know that it spits out cash. It's consolidating its debt. Its finance charges are coming down. And again,
if it spits out cash, why is its dividend yield so rubbish?
Well, look, you've seen some big price movement over the last sort of 12 months to 18 months. But, as the cash starts to come in and that debt is consolidated further, that yield will adjust, Bruce. So you've got to look forward, say, 2013, 2014, and again, piggybacking off some good growth exposure. Keeping hard copy documents is also somewhat of a regulation. So you can't just get away from that. And, you have to have those hard copy documents. There's no two ways about it. And for that, Metrofile stands out for me.
It stands out, but not enough for you, Sasha.
Yeah, like I said, it's not, where are the growth prospects? Is it going to be one that'll deliver you 20, 30, 40% growth per annum for the next 5 years? No, I don't think
Okay, so it's shot down. Sorry, Metrofile has to go. Your final one is started by an Israeli immigrant who arrived on a holiday. He wasn't met by the person who was going to meet him at the airport, so he got on a bus, met somebody who knew somebody, got a job, and the result today is EOH.
Yeah, interestingly.
30 seconds, not now.
Interestingly, in a similar segment but that same said chief executive owns 6.4% of the business. Another big shareholder owns 8.25%, and that's Fidelity. So that tells me at a global level they're happy to be invested in this business. Recent trading updates suggest they're growing at 30 to 40%. 65% of company revenue is services based, which is annuity income. So great business, and I think more importantly, it's the sector that's growing at 7% per annum for the overall sector.
There we go. Do you like EOH?
I'm not going to say that I hate it, but I'm going to have to shoot it down here. And the questions that I've got around it are quite simple. Okay, so you've seen the trading updates come out and it's growing strongly, but how much of that growth is acquisitive, and how much more acquisitive growth can you see that coming through in trading updates? I think the price that you see at this point, and let's be honest, the performance has been unbelievable. You've done so well out of it as a shareholder. I think it's around 42 Rand at the moment.
46.75 is the latest price I've got for it, yeah.
46 Rand, and this was historically a sub 10 Rand stock at some stage. And I just think that a lot of the good news could potentially be priced in.
Okay, so this was a stock that was a sub 10 Rand stock. Let's make it 10 Rand. Let's say it's gone up 4.5 times. How does this share then go from 46 Rand to 200 Rand over the next 5 years, Sasha? Because you say you like the big sexy growth stocks.
Yeah, and I think the point is well made. A lot of acquisitive growth, but they don't just go out and buy anything and everything. And a lot of the stuff that and I also like that they're do-gooders. And the reason why I say this is that they employ roughly 15% of their workforce is graduates. And they're bringing a lot of skills in a South African context and trying to get a lot of outsourced jobs back home. Now there's a big BEE component in there too, and they're getting a lot more government work. So I think in the context of where is government in the whole IT upgrade cycle, they're still very, very low. So I think there's a lot of work still to be done.
If you were American and we were in America, I'd accuse you of being a lily-livered Democrat with that kind of soft issue sort of stuff. What's happening to you,
I would vote for Barack Obama. Yeah, I'm one of those.
But EOH Holdings, what happens to EOH Holdings? You have to shoot it down, but you're shooting it down because you don't want to lose the fight, or you're shooting it down because simply you don't see this as a 200 Rand share in 5 years' time?
I don't see it as a 200 Rand share in 5 years' time. I just think that going forward, you could see some normalization in earnings. And the stock is priced in. They've delivered 30, 40% trading updates for quite some time now. Again, all done through acquisitive growth. Yeah, sure, some organic. But when that normalizes, I'm just a bit concerned.
Okay, I'm going to cut you there. So you're shooting it down. Right, so let's move on to the part where I have to make the impossible choice. Here we've got Shoprite, Ellies and EOH Holdings. Sasha's 3 picks for this evening. Shoprite shot down, Ellies accepted, and EOH Holdings shot down, not because it's a dud of a company, it's shot down because Deryck doesn't believe that it's going to have the stellar growth that it's had in the last 5 years over the next 5 years. Deryck, Janse van Rensburg then from Nedbank Private Wealth, picking Foschini, RMBH Holdings and Metrofile. Foschini getting the big thumbs up from Sasha, who understands that his credit card weeps on a monthly basis. RMBH Holdings, however, it's in the banking sector. Sasha doesn't like it one little bit. Metrofile, he reluctantly shoots down because it's an old world, non-sexy business. But I wasn't as convinced about Sasha's Metrofile shoot down as I was convinced by Deryck's shoot down of EOH Holdings. So Sasha Naryshkine, you were very brave. You were a very strong fighter. But I'm afraid you have to go. I don't know why that feels so good, but the power that one has to make Sasha Naryshkine disappear. But that's what you get for threatening violence against the host. He didn't really. That's all we have time for this week. Well done, Deryck. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you back here next Thursday. Back on Thursday on CNBC Africa. Remember to catch me on Twitter. Give me your share shootout suggestions and thoughts at Bruce Business. Next time we will also continue to pick out winners and shoot out the rest. Anybody seen Sasha? No. Anyway, who cares? Thanks very much for watching. Good night.